Good afternoon and welcome back to Latimer Park for this Emirates FA Cup second qualifying round game against AFC Mansfield, known as the Bulls. The Poppies against the Bulls. And it's going to be semi-live here on Poppies TV. Well, it's a red letter day this afternoon for Kettering Town. Fantastic news for all those that were present in the clubhouse prior to this game. We're going to have a few guests on. First of all, we've got Richard Atkinson, who's with us, who's heavily involved with the Trust, has been paramount with this campaign. Let's have a few words from you before we bring on our first guest.
Yeah, well, it's a very, very good day for Kettering Town and Kettering Town's fans. I won't say any of the details because you've got some guys on here that will fill you in, but, you know, what happened 2 years ago with a march on the council and a petition has finally paid off and helped all the other work that's been going on over the years to get us where we are today. And there's some very, very positive news to be told to everybody by some gentlemen who are going to join us very shortly. Indeed,
yes, it's very positive news indeed, something we've been waiting for at least 25 years, I think, if I can say that, it might be even longer actually. But we're going to bring on our first guest, and I'm sure that you'll recognise him. And welcome back to Poppies TV. Oh. Well, you've been instrumental also, along with Richard and Dave Mahoney, Richie June, in bringing this revelation back to Kettering. Finally, all the suspicions, the conspiracy theories are over. Your thoughts and your evaluation of what's happened today.
What a difference 7 years makes. That's all I can say.
We're at the conference.
Yeah, it's been a long old slog. That's all I can say. I mean, but finally we've... everyone's talking to each other in a positive light, and we're moving forward positively. You know, this campaign started many years ago. Richie obviously took over the club, and that was the first catalyst to this. Was a totally new vision on how Kettering Town Football Club can, you know, progress and return to Kettering. Obviously, with the new chairman and the new board, with Neil and the current chairman. And also with Richard and his efforts as well, bringing all the fans on board. And it's just been a real family effort, a Kettering Town Football Club family effort, along with the support of the local community. They've helped march onto the council, they've helped with the signatures. And yeah, we've got a deal. We've got a deal on a piece of land. We have found Kettering Town Football Club a site, and I couldn't be happier. I'm really happy.
You've been the sort of burning light, haven't you, at council meetings? We saw you in action when we were there with the fans, and you've been banging your head against a brick wall numerous times against a stiff opposition, but at least with some fruition now, isn't there? Something positive to go for.
Well, they say the light that burns twice as bright burns half as long, and it certainly feels that way. I've lost some of my hair and I've got wrinkles now. Oh, yeah, going grey. But yeah, I think this is not down to one person. This has been a real family effort. Yourselves in the media, John on the with the press as well. I mean, we basically built a coalition of support, and that includes the senior councillors at the council and the senior officers at the council who have saw the value of this club has to Kettering and the wider community.
And it has, hasn't it? I mean, someone said it at the forum that without Kettering Town, Kettering wouldn't really exist, would it? I mean, Kettering Town actually is a name, isn't it, that is universal?
Well, being a Kettering councillor, I have to obviously pick my words very carefully on here, but certainly Kettering Town Football Club is one of the beacons of this area of a very sleepy county of Northamptonshire, which isn't known for its football very well, is it? It's got some big rugby teams, but you know, but we haven't got, so you know, with football, you know, it's kind of like we punch above our weight with the Cobblers, and we punch above our weight with the Diamonds, and we punch above our weights with Kettering Town. Now, I'm sorry to swear and say Diamonds there, but
yeah, I almost had a flutter.
Yeah, so don't hate me now, but certainly we do punch above our weight for the lower league clubs in the lower kind of non-league aspect of football. So yeah, it was very important for that to be recognised by the council, and they have recognised, and now we've got a home, and we have got a future home back in the town of Kettering, and hopefully that will really support, you know, that'll bring supporters back to the club.
Kettering is a developing town, isn't it?
It is.
We did see the diagram or the photograph in the clubhouse beforehand, and you actually said that there's going to be new housing all around it, etc. So it could be an even larger force of Poppies fans coming to live in the area.
Oh, I think not only will you get the growth from bringing it back to Kettering, but you also get the growth from the growth of the town itself. And there's no point in building houses if there's nothing to do in that town. Yeah. And Kettering Town Football Club brings such a huge aspect of entertainment and passion and, you know, a sense of belonging to the town, and Kettering Town Football Club have always done that. And if this club were to go, then I mean, what is there in Kettering really for people to latch on to?
Stamp collecting.
Stamp collecting? Well, I used to do that in my youth, and it isn't really a long-term hobby.
It's not, is it?
It's not something that you can really do for too long, really, unless you really spend quite a bit of cash. So, as I say, moving back onto the football ground, I mean, Dave Mahoney and Neil and Richie are playing blinder here, along with the council officers, and we've done the impossible. And I just really hope that this is the start of more things to come. We'll sort the access out, we'll sort the planning permission out, and then
Well, one thing we haven't mentioned on air here is actually where it is. We'll let Richie mention that when he comes in. I know it's his baby. I know he's delighted with the news, and who can blame him? Who can not blame him for that? I mean, it is fantastic that at last we won't be living out of our means, and we'll have our own facility for first team football. Michael, thank you very much for coming in. It's been a pleasure knowing you throughout all of this, and something positive has come through it, and I'm sure you'll be here supporting the Poppies for years and years to come. Yeah,
well, certainly more so in Kettering, fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed. Thank you, Michael.
See you later.
Get that car back on the road.
Will do.
We're going to bring in now, hopefully we've got our owner, who's been totally instrumental in bringing this fantastic news to the club, and what a great job that he has done. Also, he's coming in is Chairman Dave Mahoney. We may have to cuddle up here together. Let's get in there. And here's Richie. And
we're going to share it.
Share a seat. This will be interesting. Can we get the camera angle right? Let's move in. Ryan's going to come in and get you here. Is that the sandwich I see before me? There we go. Well, as I said to Michael, fantastic news for everybody concerned, especially for you two guys. I mean, yourself, Richie, must be over the moon with it all.
Yeah, we set out with some goals when we first got involved in the club. We thought getting back to the borough was
paramount.
Absolutely, but getting back to the town wasn't. I wouldn't say was top of our agenda. Then after the march, we kind of thought actually people really want. It's difficult, and I think Dave would share the same view as me. We're not we're not Kettering born. We're not long-term or long-standing Kettering Town fans. We've not been involved in the club that long, so the depth of feeling about the difference between a borough and town. I think the march really kind of galvanised it, didn't it? So that people really want to get back into the town.
Yeah, I think so. I think as Richie says, I think to us it was, do you develop this site, give the fans what they want to hear, or the passion wasn't for that. The passion was to get back into Kettering Borough. So Richie says, I think with the passion from the fans never died, and the march that took place just sort of showed that we had to do something, or at least try to do something. And if it hadn't come off, well, at least we could say we did our best.
This is a long-term project, isn't it? I mean, as you said in your presentation, it's not going to happen in 2 weeks' time or in 2 years' time. It's going to be a long process before we can actually say that Kettering Town is back solidly in the town.
And you're looking at 5-10 years. When we talk about the site, we're talking about what's going to happen in the next 5 years. If we could play there in the next 5 years, that would be phenomenal. But there are challenges around the site. But the key thing for us today, the key message for us today, is we have a site.
Which is?
French's Fields.
French's Fields. I said I'd let Richie say that. That's where it is, and that is by.
People may know where French's Fields is. We said it in the actual in the forum, and it was the top of the glebe.
Yeah. The immediate problem is access, isn't it? I think you said.
Yeah, there's a number of problems, but the key one is problems with challenges is access. How do we actually get to the site?
That's going to be worked on, obviously, straight away. Just while we're all in here, Latimer Park, I know what you said in the presentation, but for the guys that haven't seen that, we'll still be based at Latimer Park?
Absolutely. I mean, we've said it from I think from the moment we signed the leases, really. We said, Latimer Park is strategically, for us, we're committed to the site long term. We've got a 25-year lease. We'll be here at least 25 years, if not longer. But we've never said that's where we think the long term for the home team is. We envisage the new site to be a match day facility, not a training facility, not an academy facility, not a youth facility, a match day.
Solely
facility.
A ground then.
A ground, yeah. Traditional turn up, play your games, leave type scenario. We've learnt lessons from the time that we're at Nen Park. And we try to do things like weddings and bar mitzvahs and everything else that that space enabled us to do. And you're competing with, where we are at the moment. We compete with Kettering Park Hotel. Why would you want to have your wedding at Latimer Park or the new Kettering Stadium, when you can go to a facility like Kettering Park Hotel or or conference centre like you've got at KLV. So we have to understand that a lot of clubs have tried to make non-match day revenues. I'm not saying that we're not going to have those things. We host our own end of season event, 300, 400 people. So we want to, rather than outsourcing that, we want to be able to hold it in our own environment. So we'll have the capability of doing those things, but it's not what we're driving forward with the ground to do.
I mean, it is tremendous news, really, when you consider you go back 25 years, but we've been trying to get land for one reason or other. Weldon plant couldn't survive doing it. Peter Ballinger had a go, couldn't do it, but you cracked it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it's to do with David and Neil's approach. I mean, 2011, I think I started on the periphery, started getting involved in Kettering. Ken's been in longer than I have, and we've all had meetings with the council. And whether it's through the march or a change in view in the council or whatever happened, that I think the relationship is stronger.
I mean, that's the thing. I think fans, there's been some words, if you said, been said about the council over the years. I think they've been nothing but supportive in the last year, 18
That's healthy,
months.
Isn't it? That's very healthy.
It is, because as Richie says, the site's landlocked. We're going to need their input. We're going to need the local landowners to be supportive.
What he's saying is, since he's been chairman, it's got better.
It was fine from day one. I think we went along.
You're still ahead on trophies, aren't you? Or is it equal on trophies now?
No, I'm ahead.
He claims he's ahead.
I'm ahead. Come on, let's stop beating around the bush.
They have a little match from with trophies who wins
And
what.
promotions.
And promotions, with Richard's ahead then. So, well, that's fantastic news. Thank you for coming in. It's what every Kettering Town fan wanted to hear, and I'm sure that'll generate a lot more interest in the club, if not already. And obviously today, FA Cup Day, it'd be great to get a win in that. Nice little pot there waiting, if in case. Won't be an easy game.
No, I think it's going to be a difficult game.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot about these guys. They were something.
Yeah, last Tuesday they had promotion last year. They finished second, I believe, in their league, but having been top of the league for some time, went up when another team couldn't take their place. More worryingly, I think they've played teams at our level 3 years in a row in this round and been successful. So I think it's they're a club that's on the rise. We cannot take them lightly, and we need to be on the game today.
We do indeed, and we'll be at that game giving you live coverage of it on audio, and this show should come out hopefully at 15 minutes or 60 minutes past 5 today, all being well. So you'll be seeing this on Dave later then, maybe. If we can,
and if you want to send me a quote request, we'll get you another chair.
Thank you very much. Other chairs are available, but there we go. Well, Richie, Dave, fantastic news, brilliant, well done, and great to have you involved, obviously, with the club. And I'm sure those fans out there will give you a warm reception in the bar later.
Hopefully.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to get Richard Atkinson now to come back. We've just heard there from Richie and David. Fantastic news, as we say, for the club. Everyone is smiling. I'm going to bring you the Kettering Town team. We have a game on today against AFC Mansfield, the Bulls, and as Richie and Dave said, not to be underestimated, the Kettering Town side read like this. In goal is Paul White, number 2 is Darrell Berry, 4 Brett Solkin, 5 Gary Storer, 6 is Michael Richards, 7 Lyndon Meikle, 10 Ben Mills, 11 Rhys Honus, 14 Marcus Kelly, 15 Declan Towers, and 18 Nathaniel Rowe Turner. 7 subs allowed today. They are number 3 Ben Toslan, 9 ST Hotter, 16 Jack O'Connor, 17 Andre Borg, 19 Mason Riney, 20 Jarvan Davidson Miller, and substitute goalkeeper Lewis Elbson, who played in the defeat against Putner in midweek. Deon Kelly Evans is finishing his last game of suspension. Meikle is back from his time out. Brett Solkin obviously back from injury. Also Declan Towers, so with only Aaron O'Connor really not in the side.
Yeah, and I've just seen James Brighton doing some running around the pitch, which is great news. He's probably a few weeks away still, but to get James Brighton back would be like signing a new player. As with Azza as well, when he's back, it's all looking very positive. Having got to a point against Leiston, obviously, where we had a lot of injury suspensions, not excusing that, but we were down to the bare bones, and it showed.
It did show, didn't it? And as I say, we lost our unbeaten record last week against Leiston, and it wasn't for the want of trying with the Poppies team. They did try. Marcus Law said after his interview that they gave everything, but it wasn't to be. AFC Mansfield, though, good side. They beat Wisbech Town on Tuesday 3-1 in the League Cup away. They lost in the league to Stockbridge Steels 2-1 recently. They beat Gresley 2-1. In the last round of the FA Cup, they beat Stourport Swifts 2-1 and beat Frickley Athletic 3-2 away. Lincoln United, who we played a couple of seasons ago, beat them 4-1 at AFC Mansfield. That's their highest defeat of the season. They beat Rainworth Miners Welfare in the FA Cup preliminary round 1-0. Drew with Spalding United away. Beat Pickering Town 2-1 in the league, and they one of the few clubs that played in the FA Cup extra preliminary round. They beat Kirby Muxloe 6-0. Incidentally, if you are a bit of a stato like I am, AFC Mansfield are the 183rd different side the Poppies have met in the FA Cup since 1888, which is also an FA record.
Wow, yeah, another one. And of course the goals record, which we'll be looking to add to today. I believe we're still 11 ahead of Tottenham Hotspur in the all-time FA Cup goal-scoring chart.
That is correct. We need to keep ahead of Spurs, that is for sure. So hopefully we'll get a few goals this afternoon. But as they said, it's this side not to be underestimated. They haven't finished lower than 7th in any of their seasons so far.
Yeah, it's only what 6-7 seasons that
2012 that they were formed by 3 disgruntled Mansfield Town directors, and they've done everything they can do to get as high up the league as they can. And they're in 10th position in the league, but 2 points separate the top 10 teams, and just goes to show that one win, they're top.
Yeah, and it's the FA Cup, isn't it? It's the magic of the FA Cup, and being the underdog, you know, it levels that playing field quite a lot, as Kettering fans will know.
Which last season did us, and we've gone out to FC. We've gone out to Gresley in the past. And,
and of course all the times we've won as the underdog. You know, that's been one of the biggest draws for people to come and see Kettering play. Really, all those.
Boston United and Telford, FC Telford in recent seasons, Kettering have dumped out of the cup. But today it's a rather wet Latimer Park. It'll do the pitch some good because it was quite hard, wasn't it?
It was. It's good for the pitch, not so good for the attendance. Possibly, it'd be great to see a really big crowd today because we've done very well this season so far. Attendances have been up from last season quite considerably already. So to keep that going, and of course nothing brings extra supporters into a club like an FA Cup run. You know, my first game watching Kettering was an FA Cup game, and you know that was Charlton away. You know, they don't get much bigger than that.
They don't. That's one of the all-time classic games, isn't it?
It certainly was. I can still see that Ernie Moss header just going wide towards the end, which would have got us a draw to come back to.
Rain that day, didn't it? Torrential rain, if I remember right.
Absolutely chucked it down.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. It was on that big open terrace. I just remember a kid's paddling pool coming across the top of the crowd at one point.
Remember a great big cigarette inflatable, I think it was.
It was inflatable everything. My mate from school bought an inflatable golf club, and there were bananas, and there used to be, was it Grimsby with all the fish, the cod army.
Oh, well, let's hope there's no banana skins today. Fixtures for Kettering Read like this in September. Well, hopefully if this is a draw, it will take place on Tuesday away at AFC Mansfield. That is on Tuesday. Next weekend, next Saturday, we play Alvechurch away. You can join Ed Palmer and myself for audio coverage of that one. On October the 3rd, we had the draw for the Evo Stick Challenge League Cup first round, where we've been pitted away at Banbury United on Tuesday the 3rd of October. Should we get through this round today, on October the 6th, the Biggleswade Town home game will be replaced by the Emirates FA Cup third qualifying round, which will depend on this afternoon's outcome. And the draw for that is going to be on Monday at 1 p.m.
Let's hope we're in it.
Let's hope we're in it. And of course, the Poppies games coming thick and fast. And if you do miss any of the games, or you haven't seen much of your Poppies recently, keep your eyes peeled on the Poppies TV website for more archive material of past Poppies games. And more recently, is the manager Marcus Lord did donate a lot of CDs of his first time in charge here, which we are currently getting onto the archive pages.
Yeah, the very last ever game at Rockingham Road is there already. I've managed to get the highlights of that up, which was we didn't know at the time. So you know the game finished and it was all see you next season. So there's no sort of event at the end of the game, if you like, but it's historic footage to have that there. Kettering won 3-1 that day, which was a good way to go out in the end, I suppose.
It's the classic Poppies. Chris Creston, who was the last player to score a league goal at Rockingham Road.
Yeah, well, we know that one.
We know that one.
Can I spoil that one here?
You can't. I don't think it's in any of my quizzes coming up. So
we managed to tweet him actually with it. John Challoner, who only played about 8 games for the Poppies, but he did tweet us back and said he was really grateful to the club because it got his career back on track at that time. And obviously it was Marcus's last game in charge, I think.
Again, he didn't know at the time there before he was invited to leave, I think, by a certain chairman who remained nameless, Imran Ladek. But there we are.
Yeah, history indeed, that is now. That name will be confined.
Well, it's positive news today, though, isn't it? I mean, things went down the hill quite a bit when we went to Nen Park. It was Imran Ladak's intention to move Kettering away from Rockingham Road, which began the spiralling downfall of the club, really, with the financial lack of input from him and sponsors, etc., where Kettering really were almost bankrupt.
Yeah, and it's this is a great chance for a lot of people to maybe come back to the fold now, because it really split people, that whole meeting at Wicksteed Park, and what Imran Ladek was a very good salesman, and he sold a story to a lot of people, and there's no shame in being sold that story. We've all bought something we didn't want at some point in our lives, been sold stuff, and we were all sold something by somebody who turned out to not be able to live up to the promises he was making. There's absolutely no shame in that at all, I don't think, from anybody, whatever way you voted that night. Some people stuck to their guns and voted to stay, and most people didn't. They were sold the story by Imran, and we got to where we got to, and there were 300 of us stood at Nen Park that night when we fielded 10 players, lost 7-0, and we thought it was all over. Well, it wasn't all over. Richie was on the periphery of things at that point, and he's still here. We're all still here. We've got this stadium, which is, I can say stadium now, with a fence here. It's been built up. We've got a real solid foundation, and the club own a piece of land in Kettering.
You were instrumental in putting a poll together recently of Kettering. 44% of Poppy's fans have not seen a game since they left Rockingham Road. That's almost half our support. Do you think now, because it's back in Kettering eventually, that they'll come back, or have those days of the 1,500 days gone, do you think?
Well, they've gone at the minute, but we've had over 800 here this season for one of the games. Hopefully we'll get up to a similar figure today, I don't know. Some people have started to come back. Some people have come back, but it was a terrible time, and some people were so disillusioned. I understand why they gave it up and didn't want to come back. But the heart of the club is here still, and there'll be people still come in who people don't come, were friends with, and maybe can reconnect with the club and be a part of helping make that stadium happen and taking us back to Kettering, being on that journey now. Be fantastic. Think of the day when that, the first day when we go to that new stadium and that first ball is kicked, and to have helped make that happen and be part of that. I just think it's fantastic. I'm up for it, and hopefully everybody else is up for that as well, because that's what this club is all about. It's about belonging, being part of a family, and Dave and Richie have spoken about it being a family, and Michael Brown, and it is. It's an absolute. That's what it is. That's what sold it to me.
But being at Latimer Park does seem to have brought people together quite a bit. It seemed so diffused at Steel Park and Nen Park. There was almost opposition, but at Latimer Park it does seem a lot friendlier, and people seem to be more cohesive together, don't they?
I think it's all part of what's happened. Once we ended up here, and this place was our saviour, if you like. Without this place, I don't know what we would have done. And the people that have been part of helping that, and when we came, the facilities, there was very little here, and all those trees have gone, and they've managed to sort out the pitch to a better standard now. Some people still say it's not very good, but there's been a lot of money spent on it. It's a lot better. There's a bit more cover, and that's all going to carry on. The fence around the ground has made a massive difference. It just feels like there's a bit of atmosphere. It's just, everybody's just sort of buying into it and being part of it and helping that happen. And, all the things that we had, we don't have a big club shop anymore. We don't, all the things that we haven't got that we're building up, we've still got a club shop. It's Martin Bellamy and his table.
He has got shirts, by the way.
There are shirts. Get your shirts quick. They're
teams are in the tunnel, so if you want to nip upstairs, I will join you for the commentary of the
off to the world of Twitter.
World of Twitter, if you want to get up there first with the microphone, and then I will be joining Richard for the commentary of the first half of this exciting game against AFC Mansfield. So hopefully Kettering Town will get through to make it even a better day today than the news that we are going to go back to our roots in Kettering and that is fantastic news for all of those concerned. We'll be bringing you interviews with Marcus Law or managerial team after the game, and also some of the combatants from this game. But for the time being, we'll give us a few moments. We're going to now nip upstairs to the gantry to bring you live coverage of this fantastic Emirates FA Cup second qualifying round against the Bulls, AFC Mansfield, live here on Poppies TV. Well, good afternoon and welcome to Latimer Park for this Emirates FA Cup second qualifying round. It's a rather wet and disappointing afternoon weather-wise, but if you haven't heard the news that Kettering Town have bought a piece of land, French's Field, near Weekly Glebe, for the future of the club, which is fantastic news. We've already interviewed Richie June, David Mahoney and Michael Brown, and co-commentator Richard Atkinson. All have been heavily involved in those discussions as the teams now come out here for this game. We're giving you radio coverage on the microphones, although highlights of the game will be shown at around I think it's going to be about 5:20 this evening, all being well.
Yeah, hoping to do that. Again, it's a new departure for us on how we operate everything since the message from the FA came through that we can't broadcast live on a Saturday afternoon. But hopefully we'll be able to get the whole game up for people to see after 5:15.
Well, the Kettering Town team lines up like this. In goal is Paul White, 2 is Darrell Berry, 4 Brett Solkin, 5 Gary Storer, 6 is Michael Richardson captain, 7 is Lyndon Meikle, 10 Ben Milnes, 11 Rhys Hones, 14 Marcus Kelly, 15 Declan Towers and 18 Nathaniel Rowe Turner. 7 subs today for the Poppies, all named. 3 is Ben Tosland, 9 ST Hotter, 16 Jack O'Connor, 17 Andre Borg, 19 Mason Riney, 20 Jarvan Davidson Miller, and goalkeeper Lewis Elmson is the sub goalkeeper. AFC Mansfield line up like this. In goal is Jason White, 2 is Liam Marsden, 3 Mark Dudley, 4 is John Delera, 5 is Jack Broadhead, 6 is Jordan Annabelle, 7 Linton Karach, 8 Pat Linley, 9 is Kieran Wells, 10 Jimmy Gulkem, and 11 Brad Wells. Their subs are 12 Cameron Deere, 14 Nick Guest, 15 is Phil Buxton, 16 Brad Pierce McDonald, 17 Tyrone Burton, 18 Anton Daniels, and 19 Tom Crosby. The referee, a change to the one that was named, is Kevin Sawnby. His assistants are Marius Tomen and Matt Jackson as the rain creeps into the gantry. And we have our electrical box now all waterproof so we don't blow up like we almost did last season.
That would be a bonus, some would say.
Well, some would say, yes. So those of you that are here, Kettering playing the traditional red and black stripes, and AFC Mansfield all in yellow. Goalkeeper in a very fluorescent, I'm not sure what colour that is, orange, or it's almost on par with the stewards, isn't it? It's very, very bright indeed. Paul White in all green as usual. He's got a towel around his neck at the moment. Let's hope it's not sweating that much, but we shall see. Quite a few in the Brian Martin pallets stand. That, of course, is covered. And spotted around here quite a few. We have no idea yet of the attendance. We've had a go at guessing the gate. We'll let you know how that goes nearer to it. And the mascots are running off the pillar. They were quite in high spirits when they came into Poppy's TV. The decibel levels went up considerably in the studio.
Yes, they're quite a youthful bunch today, so they were very excited, and they look like they're going to enjoy a good game of football now. The crowd looks a little bit down on most of our predictions, I think, but it's quite damp here today.
Well, some of your predictions, I think some of us got it right.
Well, I think my predictions are always a little bit more optimistic than most.
So Michael Richards then in the centre circle with the referee and linesman and captain John Delera for AFC Mansfield. I think we're going to stay as we were, which means Kettering will be kicking from left to right towards the Brian Martin pallet stand. And the AFC Mansfield officials are out on the pitch screaming to their players. They're giving that encouragement. We're almost ready for this game. Kettering 11 goals ahead of Tottenham Hotspur in the chase for the leading goal scorers. It's going to be Mansfield to kick off. And we're waiting for the referee to blow his whistle. Footlights are on here at Latimer Park. It is that dull. And we are getting ready now to kick off. Still waiting for the referee. He's just signalled to his both linesmen and both goalkeepers. He's turned around. Richard Lavery given a few instructions to Tom Cherry, I think he was actually. But referee now is blown away and we're off. It is Wells who plays the ball back to Marsden. High ball. Won by Roe Turner, and Richards spools one into the air. Mansfield gain possession with Goucham. He finds Marsden. Marsden retrieves the ball, intercepted by Meikle, his first touch since back from suspension. Ball ricochets to Broadhead. He falls down but clears it. Clears it to Brad Wells, but he's beaten to the ball by Richards. But Mansfield get the ball back. And they're pumping it forward now, but they're Salkin back from injury, heading the ball into the centre circle towards Kieran Wells. It's a bit scrappy at the moment as it is Meikle giving the ball away, and the ball finds it back with goalkeeper Jason White in this fluorescent orangey uniform that he is wearing. It's back into the Mansfield half. It's Ben Mills trying to find Honus. Honus has got the ball, he's got two round him. Honus still with it, squares the ball over to Declan Towers, again back from injury. Towers looks up, he's got nobody with him at the moment. He's been pressed out on the sideline here. Pulls the ball back to Berry. Berry has to play the ball back into the centre circle to Salkin. Salkin pumps one up towards Towers, but easily headed away by Broadhead. Beaten by Mills. Referee said that is a foul by Mills, pressing him down. Richards not happy with that decision. And it is a free kick to AFC Mansfield. A bit scrappy at the moment, Richard.
Yeah, a bit scrappy. It's quite blustery up here. The remnants of Storm Brona probably whipping around a bit. It's damp, the ball's skidding off the surface. People are just trying to get accustomed to the conditions here.
Salkin there having to clear the ball away from Jimmy Gouchem, I think he pronounced his name. A strange surname, really, but it's a throw-in on the left-hand side for Mansfield, AFC Mansfield, the Bulls, to be taken by Liam Marsden. He's about 10 metres from the corner flag. In it comes. No, he's decided to try a long one. That fooled a few people, me included. In it comes now, high in the penalty area. There's a melee of people there. It's headed on, back post. Referee said a foul. And Kettering gets a free kick. Paul White trots over with the ball. Not sure how many AFC Bulls fans are here. There's a few in the away area, but I can see a Kettering Town shirt in there as well.
I think we might need the official bleeper machine quite a lot this afternoon. We've
very vocal, aren't they, down there on this touchline with the expletives? But
we have Mr. Lavery on our side and their entire management team, so we do apologise for any fruity things you might hear.
Well, Mansfield have crept through here, and it's a good ball by Richards back to Paul White. So there's a poor kick out by Paul White. It goes to Delera. He's tripped over, and Storer plays the ball back to Paul White. I think he slipped the first time, Paul White. It's quite skiddy out there. Headed by Linley. Linley finds Gouchem, but Kettering come away with the ball. It's going to go out. And that should be a Mansfield throw-in, which it isn't. It's a Kettering throw-in. That surprised Mansfield as they've taken the throw-in. The ball's going to roll into the net here, is it?
It's
just by the post. Well, that counted. So it is a Kettering Town throw-in over by the Burton Park Wanderers stand to be taken by Gary Storer.
Yeah, so an interesting lineup. I'm just trying to figure out how Kettering have lined up here, because Declan Towers seems to be quite far forward on this right-hand side.
Well, 7 minutes, I think, of this first half gone. No real threat from anybody. Still eyeing up the options as Kelly tries to find Ben Milnes, but it's cleared by an AFC Mansfield player who tries to claim it came off Gary Storer, but it didn't. Storer then with the throw-in. He finds Honus. Honus does well. Turns two. He's now got a bit of running space here. He finds Meikle. Meikle to Milnes. Milnes to Honus, but he loses possession this time. And another throw into Kettering. Milnes takes the ball to Meikle, who can't control it, falls down, and Broadhead clears the board. Only two. Michael Richards has been jostled by Goucham. Still with Richards. He does well. He's got Honus and Meikle with him. Mick flicks the ball in towards Kelly, but he can't get there. Darrell Berry's going to try a shot here, maybe. Feeds the ball through to Kelly. Kelly's been sandwiched out the way, and it should go for a corner. It does. And Kettering Town's first corner. Good work there by Kelly. Goalkeeper not happy with that. Yep, I think goalkeeper thinks it's a goal kick, and still not happy, and reluctantly gives the ball back to Rhys Honus, who's looks like he might be taking it. I'm not sure. No, it's going to be Marcus Kelly and Rhys Honus discussing what's going on here. It's going to be Kelly. So first corner to Kettering. Melee of players obviously in the penalty area. Milnes came for a short, waved away. In comes Kelly with this high towards the keeper. Keeper though easily catches it, and the threat extinguished. So Jason White bowls the ball out to Liam Marsden on the far side. He gives it to Broadhead. Broadhead with the ball, still with the ball. Kicks it to Delera. Feeds it through into Kettering's half to Kieran Wells. He turns well. Outside of his foot, he finds Brad Wells. He plays it back into his own half to Mark Dudley. Dudley, a poor ball though, and if only Honus could have kept his feet, it would have put Jordan Annabelle under a bit of pressure. But Annabelle got the ball back to Jason White, and he delivers it on the far side in front of the Kettering faithful over there. It's Marsden, but Storer gets the ball back, and now Meikle might have a run here. He's only got Honus in front of him. Kelly's alongside, but here comes Honus. But number 6, Annabelle, is going to get there first, but he puts it out for a corner. Good work there by Honus. And Kettering's second corner on the opposite side, this time by the Turnstiles.
Yeah, another burst of pace from Honus there. The Mansfield defender looks quite a sizable chap, and Honus had the beatings of him, but he did well to get the ball out for the corner there.
So it is Ben Milnes who's going to take this on the far side. In it comes high now. It's a bit better there, and it's headed under. Open header there from Roe Turner. Unmarked. All he got to do is get it on target, and that would have been number 1, but it just went over, and it remains 0-0 here at Latimer Park.
Yeah, very similar to the one that Richards missed at the end of the Leiston game at the other end there. It was unmarked right in the centre of the goal, and he just put it over the bar.
That was costly against Leiston. Would have got a point for Kettering, but that didn't happen. Let's hope this isn't as important miss that time, but it is Mansfield on with the pressure to Brad Wells. He can't control it. Flicks the ball to Meikle, who can control it. He turns one way. He turns the other. Fires the ball in, but is easily cleared by an FC Mansfield defender. Flicked on to Brad Wells. Solkin allows it to go and puts it out for a throw-in. 11 minutes gone here. It is still 0-0. Neither side really with any direct chance of a scoring moment. You'll listen to Poppy's TV audio, as you will next weekend away at Alfchurch with myself and Ed Palmer. It's a long throw-in to be taken here by Liam Marsden. He decides again to fool everybody, but he puts in the long throw, headed out by Solkin. It's still in the Kettering penalty area. Storer clears it. There's only Honus up front. It's beaten to it by Dudley. It's back into Kettering's area. Richards gets it away. Milnes feeds Towers. Towers feeds Honus. It's a bit too heavy though, and easily headed back by Dudley to Jason White.
Yeah, I think I've got a bit of a grip on our lineup here. We've got sort of 4 at the back, and then we've got just in front of them Michael Richards as the defensive midfielder, and then we've got Towers is on the sort of right of midfield. We have Milnes and Kelly in the middle.
So Honus feeds the ball to Roe Turner, who missed that glorious chance really, and he had to get it on target and it was in the net. He can't control the ball, he puts it out. It's a throw in down by the corner flag to Mansfield. It's Marsden going to take this. 183rd different team AFC Mansfield that Kettering have met in the FA Cup. That also is an FA record.
Yep, and we're hoping to hold on to both our records this season. I think one of them is pretty safe, but we're only 11 goals ahead of Spurs at the minute. We need to add to that tally to keep us safe for another season, I think.
Pity Spurs aren't playing now. They'll probably lose, wouldn't they, and go out. But there we are. It's Kettering underway, hoping to get a throw in. They do. It is Meikle taking it quickly. No, he decides to leave it to Storer. Storer pinches a few inches, finds Richards. Richards turns, tries to feed Honus. He'll do well to keep this in. He can't, and it is Broadhead who feeds the ball back to goalkeeper White under pressure from Kelly, and a high clearance towards Wells. He flicks it on, but dealt with easily by Kettering. Richards flicks the ball through, but Kelly would have been offside if he'd have latched onto that ball, and it's back with the Mansfield keeper.
Yeah, a bit of a waste there from Richards. He should have taken a little bit more time. He could have seen that the player was coming back from an offside position, and waste of possession really.
So White comes out of his penalty area by a long way to deliver this ball, which he has done towards Wells. He wins that easily. Solkin clears it to Towers, who lumps the ball towards Honus, and linesman puts his flag up. Not sure what that was about, but it is a free kick to Mansfield. So just on the halfway line, Mark Dudley in front of where we're commentating from to take this. Everybody in the Kettering half by the goalkeeper for the Bulls. Not quite sure. It says on their shirt. The sponsor's name is what? What's the sponsor's name on their shirt, Sir Richard?
I'm struggling to see anybody facing this way at the minute. I will, next time somebody comes this side, we shall have a look.
Well, Meikle sets away Kelly. Kelly puts the ball through and it comes off the number 4 John Delara for a corner. He probably could have gone on there and taken a strike, but well cut out by the defender, and Kettering get another corner, their third of the afternoon. It's going to be taken by Ben Milnes on the far side by the turnstiles. Kettering faithful behind there, giving a bit of vocal support to Marcus Law and his team. Ben Milnes flicks in here, a header by Richards, and it comes off Richards' head for a goal kick. He claims it was a corner, but the referee decides not to. We have had a pronunciation from our cameraman of what's on the front of the AFC Mansfield shirt, so I'll let Richard Atkinson read that one out. And
I think that's for the senior member of the team to deal with, actually, Paul.
Well, unfortunately, my glasses aren't that good, so I can't read that out. But I'm not sure what the product is, but it's something to do with a donkey, I think. But there we go. It is Solkin heads the ball to Kelly, who turns well, trying to set off Honus. Honus challenged, throw into Kettering on the far side, midway in the AFC half. Honus, though, is down by the corner flag now. He comes inside, still with Honus, onto his favourite foot, his only foot, really. Still with it, obstructed, but cleared by Broadhead, who then just delivers the ball to Storer, collects it calmly, turns, it comes off number 7, Karak, and another throw into the Poppies as the light drizzle becomes a little heavier.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we haven't had any rain up here this year. We're only into the 5th game or 6th game of the season, and we've got rain.
Yeah, we had the water Bowser coming in with thousands of gallons of water for the first couple of games just to make the pitch playable, which was a different scenario.
Just noticed that Peter Short, our cameraman, is wearing flip-flops today. It's quite cool for that. Ball comes in. It's a free kick to Kettering, trying to find Kelly. Kelly can't win it, and it is Meikle who herds the ball out. So no threat towards the Bulls. Every time I think of saying Bulls, I'm thinking of Hereford.
Yeah.
But, there we are.
Yeah, no, we've got Honus pretty much on his own up front again, but the midfield seems to have...
It's ASIS, that you couldn't really see the I.
ASIS.
Yes, I couldn't see the I. It did look like something else, but it is the number 3, Dudley, lets the ball go out for Mansfield. Silent I, yes, it's a good job that it is. Quickly taken to Annabelle. He finds goalkeeper White. Takes one touch and another. Challenged by Honus, but White plays a wide ball out here. Beaten to it by Towers, but that goes out for a Mansfield throw-in. 17 minutes of this first half gone. Kettering Town 0, AFC Mansfield 0. You listen to Poppy's TV audio with myself, Paul Cook, and Richard Atkinson. Flicked on by Solken, and he's given a corner away. Not what Kettering wanted there, but a slack defending from the Poppies, putting themselves under pressure. This is the first corner by the Bulls. Let's see what they can do with this. No one coming short at the moment. Everybody packed in that Kettering penalty area. It's going to be Karach to take this corner. In it comes. Missed kick, a shot, and cleared left by Berry. But I think if he connected the first time there, that could have gone in.
It was dangerous there. It was slipping about. There are a few chances for him to get a shot in there. It should have been cleared by Kettering. Thankfully, just dropped wide, and it's a goal kick for Paul White.
So that's the only chance that AF Mansfield have had so far. Rain comes down. Paul White about to address the ball in white boots. That ball actually hits the unit next to us. Kettering Town throw. Towers with this throw-in, trying to find Meikle. Meikle does get the ball. He does well. He's been pushed off though by the number 4 Delia, and is giving it the other way. The referee. Well. He's saying that it was using his elbow, but there we are. The game's about opinions and views, and the referee got it wrong on both occasions that time. Oh, am I biased? So goalkeeper Jason White to take this free kick, which he's done. It comes into Kettering's half. Meikle's underneath it. He leaves it. Flicked on though by Goucham. He finds Karach on the far side. He runs quite well. In it comes. Headed on. And danger here for Kettering. Towers has to clear. It goes anywhere. And Brad Wells has to play the ball back to Delera. More pressure for Kettering. But they're doing okay. Astora lets the ball out, and it's going to be a free kick to the Poppies on the far side. Mansfield look a fairly decent outfit though, playing with 2 up front. They seem quite tall. They're very powerful, and they're playing a direct game of football. Certainly wouldn't think there's a division or so below them or beneath them. They are a good side. They've not finished below 7th place, I think, in the divisions that they've played in since their formation. And I do have a lot of ex-Mansfield players in their ranks. Paul White takes this goal kick towards Richards. He wins the ball, but it's cleared by the number 6, Annabelle. Nearly into the beef burger and turkey lamb stall over there, but it is Storer with this throw-in now. He finds Meikle, who turns well, tries a deft shot, but straight into the arms of Jason White. No real threat from that chance.
No, Kettering haven't really troubled them too much so far. I think, again, with the pace of Honus, they need to get it on the floor a bit.
Well, the referee's finally given that foul on Solken. The FC Mansfield officials down here not happy with the referee giving that. In fact, if we had a swear box, it would probably be full by now.
I think we're going to need a bigger swear box.
Barrel, probably.
Yeah.
So White with the free kick towards Richards. He flicks it on to Ben Mills. Mills outside the penalty area. He finds Meikle. Meikle wide. Files one in. It comes off a Mansfield player. Is cleared by number 10 Goucham. Only to Richards. Richards chests it. Plays it high in the air. Anybody's ball this. And Berry wins it. Pumps it back in for Meikle and Delera to chase.
He's off.
Flick on here, and Honus is offside, but that was unlucky for Kettering there. If he could have turned on that, you never know, that could have gone in. Honus not happy with it. He was offside. He's gesticulating actually, to the linesman.
It was actually Marcus Kelly that was given offside. He was offside when the ball was played. It actually bypassed him, went to Honus, but the flag was already up from the linesman.
Jason White then with this free kick. He finds Karach, but Roe Turner pumps it back into the Mansfield half towards Honus, as being manhandled a bit by Broadhead. He flicks it on though to Kelly. Kelly on the wing now on the far side. He's got two in front of him, feeds the ball through, but Honus doesn't go, and the ball ends up at the feet of Jason White.
Yeah, disappointing that again. Honus is doing fantastically well this season, but once we get O'Connor back, I think we're going to be a different kettle of fish up front. Honus will probably go a bit wider then.
Well won by Solken, but it only finds Linley. Storer mops up. The chase on now for Honus and the number 5 Broadhead. It's going to be Honus might win this, and he goes down, and it is a penalty.
A clear penalty.
Clear penalty there. Great ball, and Broadhead got into a tangle, and Honus goes down. Referee signals straight away to the penalty spot. Solken's already got the ball in his arms, and the number 5 Broadhead looks like he's going into the referee's book, which he is. So Solken then with another chance to score another goal in the FA Cup. "24.5 minutes gone here at Latimer Park. Solken is scored the other week against Leiston from the spot. He steps up, referee blows the whistle, up steps Solken. Never in doubt, 1-0, Solken does it again, sending the goalkeeper White the wrong way, 1-0 the Poppies. And 12 goals ahead now of Spurs, which is even better, but 1-0 then to Kettering Town, 25 minutes gone, penalty dispatched by Brett Solken after a foul by Broadhead on Rhys Honus. So the congratulations going on there. Honus having a chat with the referee. Solken hasn't... I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But, that's his 103rd goal of his career. And a vital one indeed, as there's a £9,000 pot for the winners of this tie. And a possible another home tie in the next round should they get through, but it is Towers with the ball in Kettering half, having to turn quickly. It comes off Mansfield boot, should be a Kettering Town throw-in, which it is, as the rain still coming down here, making the pitch a little bit more playable. It was rather hard last weekend, and I think the rain will have done the pitch some good. Berry, he finds Towers. Towers plays it back to Berry. Berry outside the penalty area, moves it to Solken, the goal scorer. He puts a square ball to Roe Turner on the far side. He's got Kelly with him. Doesn't use Kelly. Puts a long ball for Storer to try and chase, but it's cleared by Mansfield's number 10 Goucham. He goes down, and a foul allegedly by Richards on said player, and a free kick. Referee saying to calm down.
Yeah, it's just heated up a bit since the goal went in there. Hopefully Kettering can capitalise on that.
Ball back with Paul White from that free kick, no threat whatsoever. It's now with Declan Towers on the near side. He plays it back to Berry. Berry squares the ball onto the side to Roe Turner. Turner to Kelly. Kelly turns, puts it back to Roe Turner. Squares it to Solken, still in Kettering's half. He plays it to Berry, advancing forward. Still in Kettering's half to Kelly. They're playing a lot of two-touch football here. Roe Turner plays it back to Marcus Kelly. He's the last man for Kettering at the moment. Richards in the centre circle now. He moves forward into the AFC Mansfield half. Berry feeds the ball to Honus, who's switched sides at the moment. He turns well. Might get onto his favourite foot here. He's got Storer going one way. Little ball forward to Storer. Storer comes through. And it should be a goal here if he can turn. He can't. And off the line by the number 7 Karach. That should have been number 2. Wasn't hit with enough power. And somehow Mansfield got the ball out of off the line and away. Should have been 2-0, Richard.
It could easily have been 2-0 there. The ball was moving a little bit too fast to get the shot away cleanly.
Ben Mills outside the penalty, might try a shot. He does, fires one in. Gus goes wide of the diving Jason White. Good effort from Ben Mills. And Kettering up in the ante a little bit at the moment, leading this tie 1-0. That goal scored on 26 minutes by a Brett Solken penalty as Rhys Hones was brought down yet again. Well, if you've not heard the good news about Kettering's future, it has been announced today that French's Field, the weekly Glebe, is going to be the home of Kettering Town in the future. You can see the interviews with Rishi June, Dave Mahoney, Richard Atkinson and Michael Brown on our highlights package and after this game. But Bum's put forward, White has to come out. We've got White, goalkeeper, both sides now, Jason White and Paul White. But it is Jason White who's conceded one. Kelly plays it to Storer. Storer back to Roe Turner. Roe Turner in Kettering's half, squares the ball to Solken. Solken takes a touch, comes forward, plays it to Kelly. Kelly puts it back to Solken. Solken looking for variations. He finds Roe Turner on the far side. Turner advances into the Mansfield half to Richards. And there comes Roe Turner. He's away here. There's nobody with him. He's only got Towers up front, stops him from going out. Turner still with the ball. In it comes. Headed away though. And the number 4, Delera, has to trap it and get rid. And there's a trip there by Roe Turner. And Mansfield gets free kick just outside the penalty area. That was unlucky for Roe Turner. Made a super run, didn't he?
He did, and then he just got pushed a little bit wide. He did manage to get the cross in, but it just didn't quite clear the Mansfield player there. Mansfield really under pressure here. They need to get to grips with this game quite quickly, otherwise Kettering are just going to run them over.
Oh, good.
Reminder that we're now 12 goals clear of Tottenham Hotspur in the all-time scoring record for the FA Cup.
29 minutes gone here at Latham Park. If you just joined us, it is 1-0 to the Poppies. You'll listen to Poppies TV audio as 3 Kettering substitutes begin their warm-up routine. And Jason White delivered the ball. It's fine. Marsden cleared by Kettering. Meikle doing well. Sets away Towers on the far side. He chests it down. Meta play it back. He does. Plays it to Berry. Berry in the centre. Plays it to Solken on Kettering's penalty area. Comes forward to Richards. Richards in the centre of Kettering's half. Looks up. Plays it square towards Meikle. Meikle going to advance now into the AFC Mansfield half. He does so. Feeds the ball through. And a great ball through to Storer. There's nobody with Storer though in there. In comes Ben Mills. He couldn't get it. And the number 3 Dudley has to put it out. That's where you need a centre forward who's going to be alert to just tap the ball into an empty net. But Kettering get their 4th corner and keep the pressure on the Bulls.
Yeah, Storer just made a slightly wrong choice there. I think if he had just pulled it back, Marcus Kelly was coming in and could have got a shot away there.
So it's going to be Marcus Kelly with this set piece corner. He's not going to take a short one. It's going to be a long ball in there. In it comes now towards keeper. Keeper's punched it high, but it hasn't gone very far. Richards underneath it. So is Solken. Slips, falls, and cleared by Linley. Only towards Storer to Meikle. Comes inside. Kettering's players coming back to help him. Good ball to Kelly. Kelly got some space now on this right-hand side. Kelly goes down towards the byline. He's got number 11 in front of him. Comes inside, comes outside. In it comes towards back post. It should be a goal. And another open goal missed there. Fantastic work by Kelly. Any touch by a Kettering player, and it would have been in the net, but nobody could get anything on it. And Ben Mills just drags himself up off the pitch, looking at everybody thinking, how did we miss that one?
Yeah, there were two of them there. They just couldn't quite get where the flight of the ball was, and it went straight across the front of the goal. Should have been 2-0.
Should have been 2-0, but it is 1-0 at the moment. And Kettering showing their worth at the moment. Have certainly put a lot of pressure on the visitors as Jason White takes this goal kick. Roturner fouls the number 9 Wells. It is 5 or 6 yards inside the Kettering half on the far side by the Kettering Town Football Club stand. 2 Mansfield players over the ball. It's going to be Linton Karach who's going to take this free kick. Only Honus in the other half for Kettering. In it comes. High, headed out by the number 9 Wells, but Paul White comes running out. Then is tripped and isn't happy that there was contact, and it fell over but still had the ball. He delivers it to Towers. Towers, long ball to Honus. Honus chests it down well, flicks the ball to Mills. Mills left-footed towards Meikle. Meikle tries a deft flick through, can't get there, and it goes straight to Jason White. Unlucky.
Yeah, unlucky again. Kettering, they're looking very, very lively. Paul White, that is, just made a little bit of a meal of that push there. He went down very late. Comes to nothing now.
Well, from that play from White, it comes to Mansfield throw on our left-hand side, taken by Dudley. He finds the number 6 Annabelle. He turns, be under pressure from Meikle, being forced back, has to play it back to Jason White. Honus is breathing down on him. White takes a touch, and he can only pump the ball out, and it almost hit Aaron O'Connor, who's down here with Callum Willamot, I think it is, and Jack O'Connor, who are watching this from the dugout. It's a throw in to the Poppies. Declan Towers with the ball eventually. Nothing on for him at the moment. He's trying to get some movement. Finds Mills, who falls over. Very slippy out there, and the ball pumped high, and Roturner will probably put this ball back to Paul White. He does, and Paul White under a bit of pressure here, needs another man on. He goes down again, and White this time goes down, and I think he's hurt. He's not happy. He's not happy, Paul White. He's limping around, but it's on the far side, and Kelly puts the ball out, and Paul White is limping around, and we've got Lewis Elmsome, the number 2 goalkeeper, warming up just in case Paul White can't continue, but he's up on his feet and wasn't happy with that challenge that nobody really saw.
No, there's no challenge really. He was just running and he just slipped. His knee went from under him and he just twisted it as he went down, I think.
He's looks rather stiff at the moment. He's hobbling around. Have to see how this continues. Because at Stratford, the Stratford goalkeeper had to go off having performed heroics. Let's hope that Paul White can stay on, but it is Marsden on the far side, pumps a high ball in towards Wells. A good punch though by Paul White and cleared by Ben Mills, but it comes back. And a bit of pressure there by number 11, Brad Wells. Referee says nothing happening, and Kettering trying to get the ball back, but the number 4, Delera, heads the ball back to Jason White. So getting a bit interesting out there now.
Yeah, I beg to differ on that punch from Paul White there. He just seemed to flap the back of his hand at it. It didn't get much distance on it at all. I think he's very much thinking about that knee. He should really have tried to catch that one, but he seems unsure of himself at the minute. 35
minutes gone the ball with Marcus Kelly on the far side. He finds Richards in plenty of space. Richards now has got Meikle. He's found Meikle. Can he control it? He can. Just, I think, keeps it in. He's been pressured by Broadhead. Still Meikle with the ball. Feeds it through to Kelly. Kelly, outside the penalty area, finds Solken. Solken might try a shot. He doesn't. He finds Richards outside the penalty area. Richards feeds through Honus. Honus at a tight angle. He's got Towers with him. doesn't use Towers. He does use Towers. Good work there from Towers. Inside the penalty area. Goes one way, tries a shot. And no power in that shot. Jason White easily goes down to his near post. And threat diminished.
Absolutely. I'm just looking there at Paul White still, who's very uncomfortable back there. He didn't actually get any treatment. And he doesn't seem to be contacting the bench or anything, but...
Well, Durrell Berry under pressure here from Brad Wells outside the penalty area. Brad Wells has got Dudley with him, but he fires one in. Solkin heads the ball out towards to Storer. He just clears it, and it was a good clearance. It's found Broadhead. It flicks off Meikle. Very unlucky there was Broadhead trying to flick on through Meikle, who's trying to lob the goalkeeper, but he can only find Honus on the outside of the penalty area. There's nobody in the area though for Kettering. Towers coming up to help Honus. Honus still with the ball, feeds at Towers. Towers feeds Honus. It's 1-2 football here from Kettering to Richens, but that's going to go out for a goal kick. It doesn't go out for a goal kick. Good work by Towers though. Milnes still with Kettering, a good little flick, but this time it is easily cleared and pressure averted. Ball back with Rowe Turner. Paul White still limping around over there, hobbling a bit, looks a bit uncomfortable. Richens in the centre of the area. He finds Solkin. Solkin puts the ball wide out to Storer on the far side. He comes inside. Good work there from Storer trying to find Honus, but that ball is hit too hard and finds Jason White. 1-0 to Kettering Town.
Yeah, Kettering good for that lead at the minute. Again, they're dealing with the conditions a little bit better. Marcus Kelly just seems to be able to control the ball, whether it's wet or not. It seems to just stick to his feet. Storer
then hits his head really from that goal kick and finds Goucham on the far side. He's being tailed by Kelly. He finds Marsden. Marsden to Delera. He's flicked the ball through. Good little move there, but Storer intercepts. Another good game Storer's having so far. He finds that Ben Mills. Ben Mills turns one way. Bit of space here, trying to find Meikle. Does find Meikle. Meikle, though, can't control it. Cries of handball, but the number 4, Delera, pumps the ball forward towards Rowe Turner. He chests it down to Solkin. Solkin, though, misses it. And away come the visitors. The number 7, Karach on the far side. Intercepted, though, by Solkin. And away with Rowe Turner. Meikle. He finds Storer. Storer takes his time, looks up, trying to feed Honus, but that's cut out easily by Annabelle. And that comes off Ben Mills, who I think he might have hit his gentleman's area there, and he's wincing around a bit. It goes out for a throw-in to be taken by Marsden.
Just having a look around the ground here, there seems to be a few more in them than I first thought, actually. There's all the stands are full up. There's quite a few people crammed into the Morrison's end there. Actually, I think the attendance not that bad.
Yeah, weather hasn't helped the attendance, but I'm sure that the bar did well prior to the game with that announcement made about the ground as Richens wins that ball, but it only goes towards the number 3 here. He fires it back to the goalkeeper, Jason White, and Kettering still leading this contest 1-0, but Berry takes advantage of a slip by Wells, pumps it high into the night sky or afternoon sky. It's headed on by Dudley, cleared by Richens, and headed out this time by the opposition, who let the ball go down behind the dugout. Declan Towers having to go behind the dugout to collect the ball. He's told to go back by the referee. Well, it is with Durrell Berry now from that Towers throw-in. He squared the ball to Rowe Turner, who's in the centre of the park. He taps the ball to Richens. Richens finds Kelly on the far side. Kelly advancing over the halfway line. Plays the ball to Meikle, still on the halfway line. Wide ball, that should be cut out, and a foul there on Dudley by Towers. And cries of anguish from Dudley. Referee instantly signals a free kick. No booking though, and the player is up. Looking at Paul White, seems to be moving around a bit better at the moment. Keep an eye on Paul. Won't want to miss this game. He likes to play in every game.
Absolutely, and he's obviously keen to get another clean sheet after that record of clean sheets last season.
Indeed, it is his namesake Jason White though with the free kick, but it only finds Salkin. Salkin finds Ben Milnes. Ben Milnes finds Honus. Honus turns his push, but nothing given. And Mansfield get the ball back to goalkeeper Jason White. Will start the process once again with his clearance. He clears it to Annabelle. Annabelle going to play it back to White. Goalkeeper this time switches sides, and he finds Marsden on the far side in front of the Bergervan. Bergervan doing quite good trade, I think. It's a bit nasty as Delera gets the ball in the centre of the park. He feeds through Annabelle. Annabelle, not sure what to do, puts it back. They haven't gained any yardage at the moment. They're just playing it straight across the line. Now it goes forward by Delera, and it's pumped towards Wells. And he's got the ball out for a Kettering Town goal kick under pressure from Storer and from Roe Turner.
Yeah, interesting this season. Kettering have yet to really start a game with a properly recognised striker up front. It'll be such a difference for O'Connor to get back into this side, hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so. I have heard rumours of an imminent signing as well for Kettering, although I don't know any more details, whether it's another striker or not. I have no idea, but hopefully we'll hear some more of that in a week.
I know nothing. So Salkin with the ball. He finds Berry on this near side, the commentary position. He finds Meikle. Meikle under pressure from the number 8, having to play the ball back to Salkin. Salkin in the centre of Kettering's half, plays it on the far side to Roe Turner, takes one touch. He finds Honus inside the AFC half. He has to go back into Kettering's half, though. They've pushed him back. Kelly, though, with the ball, is playing a central midfielder at the moment. Plays it to Berry. Berry having to play the ball back to Kelly, and the ball back with Paul White. Let's see how Paul White handles this one. Yeah, he seems okay. Feeds Roe Turner on the far side. Good ball from Paul White. Storer, a little flick there, and Storer now played a 1-2, and he's got the pace here if he can get by the number 7. He can come inside, he has done, puts the ball over, but no one can capitalise on that. But Kelly picks up the pieces. Isn't that average? Oh, an average right bound, wasn't it? Yeah. It is Ben Milnes with the ball back to Milnes from Kelly. Kelly back to Roe Turner. Roe Turner looks up, feeds Meikle. Meikle, a soft ball though, putting Roe Turner under pressure. And it comes off a AFC Mansfield player for Kettering Town throw in to be taken by Roe Turner. He takes it quickly to Ben Milnes. Milnes back to Roe Turner. Roe Turner to Lyndon Meikle. Pumps one towards Richards. Richards being challenged by the number 10, but out comes goalkeeper Jason White. And the score remains 1-0 to Kettering Town, scored on the 26th minute by Brett Salkin from yet another penalty. Given away, though, by the number 3. A foul there on Darrell Berry by Brad Wells. Gives Kettering a free kick just inside their own half. Taken by Berry quickly. He finds Roe Turner. Roe Turner to Milnes. He turns, finds Meikle. Meikle having to go back, plays it towards Kelly. Kelly one touch, and he is bustled off it by Annabelle. Away goes Annabelle. Plenty of room here. He might try a shot. No. Squares it. Bit of poor work, though, from Mansfield, and they keep it in play. Good work from Wells. Back to Dudley. Dudley finds Goucham. He finds the number 4, Lara. Lara? Is it Lara? In it comes high. Paul White having to come out here, catches well, and no pressure from White, who's not wearing the number 1 on his jersey.
No.
So Declan Towers in plenty of space here. He's got nobody up there with him. Honus punts the ball where he wants it, but Towers can't get the ball to him, and Dudley intercepts. It goes out for a throw-in as we're getting nearer to that half-time whistle. It's Meikle, though, from the throw-in, feeding through Honus. Honus tirelessly chasing the ball, but it's put out for a throw-in by Jordan Annabelle as the rain still comes down here with the umbrellas all around Latimer Park. Declan Towers back from injury. He finds Meikle from that throw-in. Meikle still with the ball. Tries to turn. Can't. Flicks the ball through, and that should go out for offside. And put in the net by Salkin, though. But they're saying offside. Kettering fans not happy behind that goal mouth there. Can't tell from our angle if it was or not, but hopefully on our highlights we've got that showed on our picture.
From this angle, indeed, where the camera is, I'm not sure we'll be able to clear that one up particularly well, but Poppy's fans behind the goal have made the decision and said that it was a wrong decision. So
well, I make it we're into the 45th minute of this game as Kettering try to get the ball away to Storer. Storer flicks the ball through to Richens. Richens plays a long ball to Honus, the only man up forward for Kettering. He's got nobody with him. Goes on the outside. Now comes Richens. If he can feed Richens through, he's got Tower still. Honus with the ball. Might try a shot here. He does. Comes in. Still got the ball. Richens. Good block though from the number 5. In there. Oh! And off the line again there by Broadbent as the advancing Kelly. All he had to do was touch it in. He touched it on to Broadbent who somehow got something on it, and that went for a corner. Surely the last action of this first half.
yeah, pretty much. But let's see what this corner brings. Haven't had much success from corners yet, but hopefully a good delivery here, and it could be 2-0.
So then the last moments of this half. Quickly taken corner, short one towards Ben Milnes, but poorly dispatched by Milnes and headed out by Marsden for another Kettering Town throw-in. Referee signalling it looks like 2 minutes. I'm not sure if it's 2 minutes or victory or some other remark, but it is a throw-in to be taken by Declan Towers. Towers going to try a long one now. Thought about a short, but it's going to be a long. Referee looking at his watch. Ball comes in, Solkin turns in there. There's nobody else with him. Being fouled there is Honus, but still on the ball. Tries to turn, can't. Flicks the ball towards Lyndon Meikle. Might try a shot. Meikle fires one in, and that hits the Brian Martin stand. Referee's blown his whistle and wants a chat with the number 4, who's the captain, and number 11, Brad Wells. I presume that's for offering advice.
Football players offering advice, who'd have thought?
Well, he's certainly having a few words here, but Kettering well worth their 1-0 advantage. FC Mansfield really haven't troubled Paul White, and with a bit more luck, Kettering could have been probably 3 goals ahead in this first half, but some stout defending, off-the-line clearances keep this scoreline at 1-0.
Yeah, and that header that was from 6 yards out by Roe Turner should really have hit the net as well.
So we're nearing half-time as it is Jason White with the kick. Solkin wins that though, but easily headed back. Meikle puts the ball through to Honus, and there were 2 Kettering players there allegedly offside. Getting the nod from John Dunham saying that they were offside, but my angle and my biased angle, of course, they weren't. But I'll... Now, did you hear that? Someone said the press always give the truth. That's a statement in itself, isn't it?
Died in the wool Poppies fan John Dunham says it's offside, therefore it is.
Ben Milnes then on the halfway line as the seconds ebb away in this first half. Feeds the ball to Honus. Honus takes a heavy trap with the ball. Turns, though, he's been fouled, but he finds Milnes. Milnes to Storer. Storer back to Milnes, and cleared desperately there by Karach. And headed on towards the number 9 Wells, but Roe Turner gets the ball, and there goes the whistle for half-time.
Yeah, Kettering will be, I think, happy with that first half performance, although they probably would have liked to have had a couple more goals to add to the tally. But yeah, Mansfield really haven't threatened very much on the goal. Kettering comfortably ahead 1-0 at half-time. We'll have Paul Cook down in the studio very shortly for some analysis of half-time, and then we'll be back with audio coverage of the second half for you. Don't forget, we'll hopefully have the whole match for you on the YouTube channel at 5:16, so you can see for yourselves what's gone on.
A rush down there from the gantry, very slippy gantry, to the studio. It is Kettering Town 1, AFC Mansfield 0. I almost said Mansfield Town 0 there, but I'm sure I would have got some flack if that had happened. Goal scored on 26th minute by Brett Solcombe, which you'll be able to see on our highlights and game after this broadcast, which we'll try and bring to you as soon as we can, so you can see all the action from that first half. But Kettering have been really the dominant force in this game, and really should be more goals ahead than the solitary goal that they are. Brett Solcombe, though, scoring another penalty. That's his fifth goal of the season, and third in the FA Cup. He scored twice at Romford, so he's doing quite well on his FA Cup campaign. So yes, it's an interesting game, very sort of sticky conditions out there. Marcus Law will be delighted with that first half. We're going to bring in a neutral, I think we can say, although on certain forums he has been classed as a Kettering Town fan. We'll ask John Dunham about that in a few moments. But John, first of all, news of the ground situation, which has been summed up quite nicely by Rishi June, Dave Mahoney, Richard Atkinson, Michael Brown. As a journalist, and you've been following this story for a long, long time like myself, what's it mean to you?
It means the culmination of a lot of work by a lot of people, and I'm really pleased for them, because I know how much work has gone into it, both from within the club, from outside the club, from the fans, from everybody. So today is a day to enjoy for everybody, because you don't get many good days when you follow a football team, really. Unless you support a big gun who's got loads of money. So when this situation sort of comes up and a lot of work's gone into it, you've got to enjoy it, and I'm really pleased for all of them. And it's a massive step towards getting back home, which is what they want.
I said to Richard Atkinson pre-match that he put a poll on, I think, on one of the websites. It might have been Twitter, I'm not quite sure, but 44% of Kettering fans haven't seen Kettering Town play a game since they left at Rockingham Road. Do you think now that it's back in Kettering, or will be back in Kettering in the future, that those fans that have stayed away might come back and support?
Well, it's either that or they think of another excuse. So, but that's. That's a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It's not fair, because a lot of people walk to Rockingham Road, and a lot of people can't walk here or have other modes of transport or whatever, or just the fact that they believe that Kettering Town should be in Kettering, and they think that strongly about it. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I'm not here to judge anyone in their opinion. But for sure, the mere fact that they're going to be back in the town, and their presence back in the town has got to be huge for them, I think. And it's the old field of dreams thing, isn't it? If you build it, people will come, and hopefully that will be the case. And there's obviously a lot of legwork to do, and there's still a lot of hoops to jump through and everything like that. But for this club to be back in Kettering, the importance of that I don't think can be underestimated. Even as good as Latimer Park's been made now, it's a shadow of what it was when they first moved in here.
And the plans also that they got for Latimer Park also going to happen in the next
absolutely 8
months or so. Going to be quite important. But as Rishi June said, a lot of the stuff that will happen here will be modular and can be moved to the new site. But that's not going to happen straight away. And I think we'll be here for a few seasons before the
just on that, I've I asked about a timescale when I interviewed them, and Richie was fairly non-committal, but I think he's got 5 years in his head. I think that's the time scale that they're trying to aim at. Planning and all that and everything can always take months or even a year or whatever. So what the supporters have got to do now is this is the big news that everyone's been waiting for. Now they've just got to back their team up, and and I have no doubt that when the club have got more to say on the new ground and everything like that, then they'll certainly say it. But for the time being, everyone should be really proud, and the fans should be proud as well, because I don't think that all the work that's gone on with the council and everything, not sure that it would have gone maybe as smoothly as it sounds like it's gone since then. If they hadn't have done the march that they did, I think it might have been a bit understated at the time what they did. But there's not many people these days who get off their backsides and try and do something about something. They all all like me and sit and moan about it on Twitter or something like that, you know. But
No.
they all got up and they went and they marched through the town, and I don't think the council were ready for that. And I think if they weren't awake, I think they were after that. So fair play to them for that.
Yeah, I'm going to say fair play to the council for doing something positive.
Absolutely.
And long may that continue on both sides of the fence there, that Kettering gets the access and everything else they want to get their ground underway at French's Field, which is on the Weekly Leap side of Kettering, behind the KBA Academy, I think. There's some allotments around that area, but all plans and details no doubt will be brought to the attention of everybody in the future. Right, let's get back to today's game. 1-0. Your number one fan scored the goal.
I'm his number one.
Oh,
fan.
I knew you were like that, but I'm sure that. Well, I don't want to say that, you see, because people are watching, isn't there? But yes. There we are then. Brett scored the goal. Fans all round. He'll probably have a photo of you again with him later on tonight.
Oh well, let's hope so. Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, on a historic day for the club, it's typical that he gets himself involved in it as well, doesn't it? So no shock. But it felt a little bit flat, the game and the atmosphere, considering everything that
weather hasn't helped, has it?
No, it hasn't. It is horrible out there, to be fair. It is horrible out there. So, but I think Kettering have genuinely been in control of the game. I think they've had the better chances. It was an absolute stonewall penalty. I don't think there was any complaints over that. And Brett's just got the knack at the moment from scoring from the spot, isn't it? It's
rather Craig Norman-esque, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure what the record number of successive penalties. 43. So there you go. So he's knocking off records here, there, and everywhere, isn't he, Brett? In a minute. So there's another one for him to aim for. So
I don't want to say it on commentary, but since Brett's been taking penalties, which is only last season actually, he's not missed.
No, so, and they were dreadful from the penalty spot before he started taking them, weren't they? So it's good. You've got to have a good penalty taker, and that's what he is. But yeah, they look comfortable. I think they need another goal.
Been lucky, haven't they? I mean, they've got 2 cleared off the line. They've been very, very unfortunate. But I think with that central striker that we've been missing, had O'Connor been out there, a couple of those goals would be in.
Yeah, there's a couple of crosses that have gone over. Marcus Kelly and I think it was Ben Milnes or Gary Storer or someone put another ball across in.
It was Storer.
I just turned around and I said, "Where's Aaron O'Connor when you need him?" And he's sitting in the dugout, trying to get fit, but he'll be back soon, and Kettering will be stronger for it. But yeah, as far as the game's concerned, they look to be in control. But yeah, I think they could probably just do with one more goal just to wrap this game up. Actually,
one name that people won't probably have heard of too much is the Kettering number 9, who is on the subs bench this afternoon, Este Hotter.
Don't ask me. I don't know who he is.
You're a journalist.
No. Got no idea. I know he played from the start on Tuesday, didn't he? In the
he did look quite good, and allegedly has sort of Italian connections.
Oh right, Someone said he was from Milan. Yeah, no, but no one seemed to answer when I asked whether it was AC or Inter that he was from.
It could have been FC Milan or something. Who knows? But
AFC
Milan. But yes, Este Hotter is out there on the bench, and there's a decent bench. We did see last week when we played against Leiston, we were down to the bare bones, but Ben Tozen's on there, Jack O'Connor, who played very, very well on Tuesday night against Cutner in that defeat. Andre Borg, of course, has been injured a couple of times. Riney and Davidson Miller, and young Lewis Elmson is there. I thought he might have to come on after injury to Paul White. I didn't see what happened there.
No, it was when Nathaniel Rowe-Turner laid the ball back to him, and he took a touch before kicking it, and it looked like there was a Mansfield player challenging him, but it looked like he just twisted his knee. I thought he seems to have shaken it off. He was struggling for about 5-10 minutes after it, but I think he looks okay now. So hopefully that's nothing too much to worry about. The squad's just looking that little bit stronger now, isn't it?
We've got Dion Kelly Evans to come back next week. James Brighton's been doing some light training,
doing some running, and Aaron
O'Connor's out there as well.
I think we're a matter of. I think we can start talking days before Aaron O'Connor's back now. I think I'm thinking maybe a couple of weeks from now. I think we might see him back in the frame a little bit. He's making good progress as far as I know.
It's as Marcus Law said last week that the Leiston game was one game too far with that squad that he had available for him, and certainly if we'd had one or two of these players in, Meikle and Towers last week, it might have been a different story. I'm not sure. Obviously, we're only.
I think that's fair. That's certainly kind of the way I wrote things and the way I saw things. I just think, that it was just that the team they had out at the end just wasn't quite good enough,
No.
you know, and that's not trying to disrespect.
As Marcus Law said, the team
know,
that kicked off at Hitchin Town, the team that
you're talking 7 first-team players
Right.
out of the frame, effectively. It's just no team copes with that in this league. No team.
Anyone impress you from AFC Mansfield?
Do you know what? I think the number 11's looks quite a good player, Brad Wells, and I think that's why I had a couple of tweets sent to me about why Declan Towers was playing either right wing back or right back, and I'm wondering because I think their main threat has come from down the left hand side, and I'm wondering whether it's a deliberate ploy by Kettering to play him out there to look after him because he looks a decent player, but they're quite big and strong. Defensively, you know, they've had to work hard. Kettering are pulling them around a little bit. You wonder how much they've got in the tank, you know, if as the game progresses and everything. But you know, they're still in the game. So
they had a good win in midweek against Wisbech Town in the League Cup, a 3-1 win at the Fens there, that Fendon Arena, whatever. That was a good win. They're quite a side with. They've beaten Gresley, who beat us over a little while ago. Lincoln United, they lost 4-1 to at home. And they drew with Spalding, who we've played in a pre-season friendly as well. So we've met some of the teams, obviously, that they've played, but not a bad side. And the one to watch out for, goal scoring wise, is Linton Karach, the number 7, I believe. So,
right.
Although he's not troubled Paul White in that first half. Just if you have just joined us, we have got. We've been drawn against Banbury United in the Evo Stick Challenge League Cup first round. That is going to be Tuesday, October the 3rd. Next Saturday, the last game of September, we're away at Alvechurch. You can catch Ed Palmer and myself at Alvechurch. And if we win this game this afternoon, then the Biggleswade Town game on the October the 6th will be cancelled, and it'll be an Emirates FA Cup third qualifying round, which will obviously depend on the result. And we won't know who we're going to be playing against until Monday's draw. Another home tie be good?
Another home tie would be good. That's manager speak, isn't it? We'll take a home tie. So yeah, but I mean, you know, just to get through, it's more money in the pot, isn't it? So you know, I would have thought once you get through to the third qualifying round, you're really eyeing up the first round, aren't you? So you know, the first round proper. So yeah, finish the job today. See what the draw brings.
Well, the teams are coming back out onto the pitch. We're going to join myself and and Richard Atkinson upstairs on the gantry for this second half. It's currently Kettering Town 1, AFC Mansfield 0. So join us both up there for live coverage on the Poppies TV audio.
And the teams are out here at Latimer Park for the second half, or at least the Kettering team are. They're going through their usual warm-up routine down here. It's just waiting for Mansfield to emerge from the tunnel, and they do so now. And Paul Cook has clambered his way up for the greasy ladder to join us.
Yes, it was quite nice in the studio, and certainly a different temperature up here, that is for sure. But yeah, the AFC Mansfield side now coming out. Doesn't look like any Kettering Town changes at the moment. Doing final warm-ups, and no changes so far for anyway at half-time for AFC Mansfield, as the Kettering fans now clamming the tin hat as the rain continues to trickle down. Nothing too heavy, but just enough to make it unpleasant.
I think another record has now tumbled this season. This is the longest that Paul Cook has stayed on the gantry during one game so far this year.
Oh, I'm not having that. But certainly the temperature has dropped, well, amazingly, but there we are. So referee then ball in hand. Well, it should be a Kettering Town kick-off, unless the rules have changed, as the little mascots are being herded into the tunnel by Champ the Lion. Or was it Chump the Lion? I'm not quite sure now. But
I think Champ. I did see somebody on the internet said bring back Rocky Bear the other day. I think Champ might be a little bit upset by that.
to see Marcus Law chuck his banana into the Kettering fans, and I think
it's becoming a bit of a tradition that.
Yeah, I think not quite. So he trudges round. So we're all ready then for this second half of the Emirates FA Cup second qualifying round. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It is Rhys Honus over the ball as the referee checking his watches, checking with the goalkeepers to make sure they are ready. Looked at his sundial and looked at his other watch. Looking at Marcus Kelly. I don't know what I look at Marcus Kelly for, but he is doing. And oh no, it's Meikle. They do look similar, don't they, from this angle? And away we go. It's Honus plays the ball back to Michael Richens. Richens, long ball towards Towers, who's now on the far side, but he can only find Delera, who puts a high ball in. Solken should win this, traps it, does well. Solken playing a long ball, but Towers is going to win this one, I think, but cleared by the number 5 Broadhead for the first throw-in of the second half. Kettering kicking now from right to left, and Mansfield playing in a all-yellow strip. Honus to Towers. Towers puts the ball back to Meikle. Meikle comes inside, does well, beats 2, but loses the ball, but Milnes recaptures it. Ball with Towers to Berry. Berry puts a ball down, it cannons off Milnes, and away go Mansfield, but Roe Turner feeds the ball back to Paul White, who then makes the number 9 look silly, and Roe Turner comes away with the ball for the Poppers. He finds Solken, Solken turns, he finds Berry, but it's a poor ball from Solken, but he gets the ball back, and Richens in the centre of Kettering's half. He looks up, plays it towards Meikle, who's in the centre circle, trying to feed the ball, but it cannons off a Mansfield player. Richards trying to win it back to Milnes, Delera and Storer, but it is a free kick, allegedly. Said it hit his hand. So Ben Milnes not happy with that assessment of his afternoon, but nothing that he can do about it. Jason White, the goalkeeper, is going to take this free kick halfway inside his own half. Everybody trooping into Kettering's half now, the exception of Rhys Honus. Jason White then, going to be cut out by Marcus Kelly. Annabelle trying to feed the number 10, but Kettering get it away to Meikle. Meikle cuts inside, but he's blocked, and away comes number 9, Kieran Wells, causing some problems for Solkers. Still Wells with the ball, they all leave it. And headed out by Roe Turner. Referee gives Kettering a free kick, although the AFC Mansfield player is down on his haunches.
Yeah, I think Roe Turner just carried on with his shoulder a little bit after he headed that ball and just went into the Mansfield player there. The trainer's just waiting to see if she's coming on. Yep, the referee signals her on, and she'll go and check that everything's in the right place.
Oh, yes.
I was having a good wander around the crowd at half-time, having a chat with a few people, and there's a real buzz about the announcement today that Kettering have acquired the piece of land at French's Field. I think there'll probably be quite a few Poppies fans having a wander up and down there over the next few days to see what it's all about.
They'll need an orienteering map, though, won't they, and some hiking boots if they're going to go over there then, because there's no access to it.
It's a little. You can get up to the. I have to say the best way is to walk straight up the glebe, and you can get through to it from the top end of Weekly Glebe.
So take a trip up there and have a look at potential, well, not potential, but the new site that is earmarked for Kettering Town's new ground. But back to today's game, Paul White takes the free kick to Roe Turner. Roe Turner feigns a shot and passes the ball to Declan Towers. Towers heads it down under pressure to Berry. Berry squares the ball to Meikle. Meikle inside the AFC Mansfield half, comes inside. He's got nobody with him. He's turning Storer to go one way, but can't deliver. And away come Mansfield now with a searching ball for the number 9 Wells, but cut out by Roe Turner. He finds Kelly. Kelly squares the ball to Richards. Good work there from Kettering. Nice and easy. Well played with the passing movement on the slippery surface as Berry finds Milnes. He can't control it, and commentators curse there as it goes out for a Bulls throw-in.
Yeah, Roe Turner looked really composed there. It's difficult conditions, and he just stayed calm and got the ball. Looks like Mansfield are readying a couple of players to come on here, so I think it's some imminent, possibly a double substitution.
Well, they didn't waste much time after half-time before they're going to change. Looks like the number 18, Anton Daniels, is going to come on, and also Cameron Deere. But we'll give you those changes when they happen, as Meikle is trying to get the ball off the number 8. And away goes Karach. He's got nobody with him at the moment, but he's disposed of, though, by Richards, who calmly takes the ball off him, turns and tries to set Towers away on the far side. If Towers can get this, he'll do well. He has done well. He has got it. He's under pressure from the number 3, Dudley. Towers, though, with the ball, but a poor ball from Towers. Easily finds Delera, and he gets the ball off a Kettering player for a throw-in. And we're going to see these changes now. Here we go. The managerial team here of Mansfield very, very loud in getting this change happening. And it's going to be one change. Number 7 coming off is Anton Karach. Is coming off, and it is Cameron Deere coming on for the Bulls. So that change has just taken place. We thought we were going to get a double substitution, but that hasn't happened. So he makes his way onto the pitch, Cameron Deere. So Marsden couldn't win that ball, and it goes out for a Kettering throw-in right in front of our commentary position. Storer quickly taking it to Roe Turner. Turner squares the ball to Solken on the middle of the park. Puts it back to Roe Turner. Turner still with the ball. Long ball for Storer and Meikle to chase, but Broadbent's there. He puts it out for a Kettering Town throw-in. Throw-in to the Poppies. Honus. He finds Ben Mills, back to Meikle, and a good little move there from Meikle towards Honus. Honus goes down, and this time he falls in the penalty area, but the referee decides it was a dive or a fall, and has given a free kick to AFC Mansfield, who've taken it in the wrong place considerably there. It's got to be in the penalty area, surely. Not even there either. But
I think the original foul was further out. Actually, I think that's not too far from where it should have been.
Roe Turner, though, wins the header towards Ben Milnes. Honus is offside, but he's onside, but he can't win the ball, and Marsden can. Solken, or Towers, wins it back to Milnes. He feeds the ball back to Richards, who squares it towards Meikle, but he can't get there. Deere gets his first touch since coming on, and Deere trying to get onto this long ball, but easily won by Turner and hooked away by Storer. Towers intercepts, wins it quite easily. He's on his own, though. There's no one with him. He's not known for this sort of excursion up front. Feeds the ball to Meikle, who crowned cries of man on, went unavoided. And away comes Kieran Wells for, Jimmy Gurchim for Mansfield. Ball comes in high towards Wells, who flicks on. And that hits the side netting. Paul White there having to dive. He must have got something on it, because it has gone for a corner. That's the first real chance for the Bulls, and almost resulted in a goal. Good save there, looked like them, from Paul White.
I think he probably just covered it there, but I think it was actually the defender that it flicked off for the corner.
So then a corner to be taken by AFC Mansfield on the far side of the ground of the Brian Martin Pallets stand. The fiver, please, Brian, for that. And it is Goucham with this corner. In it comes now. A bit of a melee here. The number 2 fires in it. Ricochets off Berry, and Meikle gets away now. There's a 2-on-2 here. It's Meikle and Honus. Away comes Ben Mills. It's slowed down a bit. Gone the wrong way, I think. They've all come back now, and a poor ball from Meikle trying to find Kelly results in Jason White easily collecting the ball when it looked odds on that Kettering would have a strike on target, but that wasn't to be. And the second substitution now by AFC Mansfield is going to happen. It is Anton Daniels who is coming on, and it is the number 9 Kieran Wells who is coming off. It's caused Kettering a few problems. He trots off. So that's 2 of the permitted 3 subs for FC Mansfield been made. Kettering yet to make any changes, as Declan Towers is wiping the ball down. It's still raining here at Latimer Park. 1-0 to the Poppers if you've just joined us. A little misstep there by Darrell Berry. And he comes away with the ball now to Declan Towers. Back to Berry. He squares it to Roe Turner on our near side towards us. Got plenty of space here as Roe Turner to go forward. Milnes back to Roe Turner. Trying to find Solkin. Flick on by Solkin to Storer. Good work there. Flicked on to Ward's from Honus, who's being manhandled. Referee allows play on, but now decides to give the free kick. That is in a very dangerous position for the Mansfield side. Referee did well there as Honus was being manhandled. He waited to see what would happen. Advantage went away from Kettering, so the referees brought play back. Good refereeing, and it is a good position for a strike on target for in the wall at the moment. We've got Honus, Milnes and Kelly over the ball. The referee now strides out the 10 yards. Solkin's even coming over. Surely not.
No, this looks the distance that Milnes scored that cracking goal last season, I think, against Banbury. Could be wrong.
Well, since then he's not been too hot with the free kicks, although he has scored a couple of goals since. But it is Milnes who's going to take this. Comes in and... I said he hadn't scored many, and he's repeated it. What a goal that was, in off the angle, and 2-0 Kettering Town. What a good goal from Ben Milnes.
Well, I did say it was the distance he scored from before, but actually this went in the other side of the goal from the previous one. Hit the stanchion and went in. It's 2-0.
Well, that should ease some of the pressure, and what a strike it was. We're at the perfect angle here to see that. Just as we were against that goal against Banbury, it was flighted well. Goalkeeper, no chance, and it always looks spectacular when it comes off the woodwork and ricochets across. 2-0 to Kettering, and surely passage to the next round now is on the cards. Haven't got an attendance yet, but... and away go the visitors with Gertsham. He finds number 4 Delera, plays the ball back, and Jason White having to punt the ball towards his players, but Richards gets there instead. Solkin beaten to it, but Richards gets in on the act. Honus can't win the head tennis game at the moment. Turner has given the ball away though. So as it's scrappy at the moment as Solkin finds Turner. Turner under pressure, may have to play the ball back to Paul White. Thought about it, changes his mind. Well done, and towards Honus. Honus can't win that, and that's hoofed out by Mansfield. Kettering Town throw in front of our cameraman.
Yeah, Kettering good for their 2-0 lead. AFC Mansfield have looked pretty solid, but they've not really put too much pressure on the Kettering goal.
Had that one chance in the near post a few moments ago, but beside that, haven't really threatened Paul White.
Not really, no. They'll be a bit disappointed with that, but they need something quickly if they're going to get back into this game and have a chance of getting anything out of it.
Paul White then with the ball. He finds Roe Turner. Turner trying to find Honus. He does. A flick on by Honus. Good little flick by Honus, but intercepted by Mansfield. It is found Linley. Linley fouling Storer. Referee has seen it and has given Kettering a free kick just inside their own half. Storer plays it quickly. Finds Roe Turner. Roe Turner to Storer. Meikle. Meikle under pressure, has to play the ball back to Roe Turner, who's seen quite a bit of the ball so far in this second half. He passes the ball back to Paul White, who seems to have recovered from that knock in the first half, which we're a bit worried about, but he's given the ball to Richards.
Yeah, it's always a worry that players will play on for too long with a knock and do more damage. I know Solcombe did that earlier in the season.
Away goes Meikle. He feeds the ball through, trying to feed it to Honus. Honus got the ball, went for the easy option of giving it to Solkin, and he couldn't quite get there. Chance gone, but another good chance for Kettering. But in comes Richards. Richards fires one in low towards Jason White's near post. He goes down well, and another good move from Kettering, who are in the ascendancy in this second half. 2-0 to the Poppies.
Absolutely, they're doing really well.
Darrell Berry finds Towers on the far side. Back to Berry. Berry been quite impressive since he's come back from that long-term injury last season. Puts the ball back to Paul White. He finds Roe Turner. Turner gives the ball to Kelly, who's playing in a more defensive position in this second half. He feeds Richens back to Kelly, who can't get there. The number 4, Delera can. He finds Bradwell's on the far side. Number 18, Daniels, is the only man forward for the visitors. In it comes. It cannons off at Towers, but it still stays in play. And that's played back to Pat Linley. Linley has to put the ball way back to goalkeeper Jason White, who's come forward. He releases Marsden to Broadhead. Broadhead to Daniels. And a good ball there to Marsden, but cleared by Kettering, but only towards the lair. He's got plenty of space. He might try a pot shot. Doesn't. He finds Dudley. Still in Kettering's half, but under no real threat at the moment. Having to play the ball back. They're not really advancing too far, but now here comes Broadhead. He's got a bit of yardage. Mistimes the ball, though, and puts the ball out of play. Poor passage of play there from AFC Mansfield, not capitalising on the time on the ball, and eventually it goes out of play to the Poppies' favour.
Yeah. I'm just looking down at the pitch at the minute. The pitch looks to be cutting up quite a lot now, and it looks a little bit heavy in places. Obviously, it hasn't had this amount of rain for quite some time.
Yeah, it's not torrential, is it? It's just steady drizzle, and has an impact on the pitch. Quite a few players have been slipping over, but it is Salkin with the ball in the centre of the park for Kettering. Mills wanting it and getting it. He's got Storer with him, doesn't use him, uses Meikle. Meikle plays the ball to Ben Mills again. Mills, quite influential in the second half, tries to release Meikle, but he's been challenged here by Marsden, and it goes out of play for a Bulls throw-in in their own half. The ball back now with goalkeeper Jason White from that throw-in.
Yeah, Meikle not quite looking at full match fitness yet, I don't think. I think he played about 70 minutes on Tuesday night. But obviously had a bit of a layoff before that, thanks to his suspension.
Ball back with Darrell Berry, who puts it to Paul White. White having to take a touch, plays it back to Berry, calmly, coolly and collected. He finds Salkin. Salkin releases Roe Turner. Good ball from Turner there, and away goes Marcus Kelly. Now he's been chased by number 6, Annabelle, and tried to lob the goalkeeper, but this time it didn't happen, and Jason White caught that one, but good work there from Marcus Kelly. Alert, willing to try anything, and that's what we like to see here at Latimer Park. Jason White still with the ball, hasn't delivered it, has now, and Richens finds Roe Turner. The ball's back with Richens in the centre circle. Looks up, tries to feed Meikle, but the ball doesn't get to him. It's now with Marsden, just on the halfway line. He finds Cameron Deere, but he can only find Roe Turner. Marco Richens collects the ball, feeds away Marcus Kelly. Kelly's only got Honus in front of him. He finds Honus. Oh, lovely turn there by Honus. Completely fooled Broadhead. Still has the ball. Still with the ball, has to play it back though. It is Storer. Storer back to Roe Turner. Lovely work though from Honus, wasn't it? Lovely turn, and couldn't take advantage of it though, but it is Salkin to Roe Turner, who's advanced into the AFC half. Away comes Storer in the penalty area here. Can he turn? He can't. He feeds the ball through to Ben Mills. Mills though, and Mills challenged there. That was looked like a penalty. Referee has said that the player won the ball. It goes out for a corner. Quite contentious. What do you think there, Richard?
I think actually that was a very good tackle. Trying to be as unbiased as possible. I think actually he got his foot on the ball and put it out. It looked like it could have been a more 50-50, but I think it was actually a great tackle.
So then it is a corner to the Poppies as we're midway through this second half. Ben Mills with the corner, hand raised high. In it comes now, goalkeeper under pressure there. And another corner